starting from the federal government, they can make it as a policy that you can accept land and the crops as collateral. All you need to do is for it to be insured. The land and the crops are already insured in case of disasters. It has to be a policy. But such policy can only be driven by the federal government, the state governments, the central bank and all that. Because if you don't do that, we will not have that exponential growth that we are all looking for in the agri sector.
Agricultural insurance is very vital to agricultural productivity. I.e., let me give you this simple example. In Kebbi, about 2 years ago, there was serious flooding. Government tended to give some assistance, some support to farmers. Now, a lot of corruption took place. The farmers themselves exaggerated their losses. The federal government functionaries who are supposed to handle the distribution of all these things did not necessarily do due diligence to meet those farmers who really suffered. The lists were made, sometimes on political basis, sometimes on personal basis. There were many things. This happened also in many other states like Jigawa and some states in the southern part of the country and all that. Now, but if you have insurance, insurance is specific to a farm. Even if you go as a group, it will be specific to a farm, a live farm. And all of the things that are there will be captured. And if anything happens, either as an act of God or a mistake in the cultivation or growing of whatever it is, there are instances where insurance will come in. And we have a whole insurance outfit for agriculture, NAIC. If you judiciously follow up the mandate of NAIC and it ensures farming activity and gives people the requisite payments whereupon they have lost many things in their production or productivity or in their farms, and they get appropriate compensation, they will be able to go back. But whereupon agri insurance is only meant for loan access, then it is going to be abused. On the Ankobroa, I know that you don't get Ankobroa until you bring insurance. And the CBN was talking to so many insurance companies. It didn't restrict itself. And in fact, I have had complaints from NAIC that it wasn't a very strong player in that. I don't know whether they have institutionalized the insurance policy towards NAIC. I don't know whether they just approached other players. But this is an insurance outfit that is meant for agriculture as a whole.
The funding from the government has good intention. Why do they have good intention? This agri scheme that they allow people to do will have been a perfect and good system. But the so-called former governor of the central bank, he boggled everything. He does not even allow this thing to get to the right people. I've never seen it anywhere in the world where you say, okay, you are given X amount of money to support farmer, whether rice, cocoa, or whatever you are producing. It's the government agency that's going to clear the land. It's the same government agency that provide the chemical. And the people they are even giving the money to, are they the real farmer? The answer is no. And that's why they have a lot of indebtedness with from the source. We cannot say all the system is bad, but there are some areas that government have tried, like Bank of Industry and Exim Bank. They are very transparent. They have been helping the exporters. or the processor to fund their business. But how much can they give out? How many exporters are benefiting from it? How many license buying agents are benefiting? Does the farmer enjoy it?
All finance, the economy itself, is 80% private sector. Only 20% is government. The government is only to create the regulation and enabling environment for it to thrive. In fact, it's the private sector that should play a very vital role. But the private sector has to see where it will get its profit. When there is so much risk, you cannot take part in it. I mentioned NISAL to you. NISAL that was created to de-risk agricultural lending was not doing that work. So the private entrepreneurs or private sectors or investors or whatever did not see safety. Therefore, they did not put their own resources there. The private sector should come to us directly. We will look at all the modalities. They will see how they will get their money back, and then we will do it. But then the rule of law should work. The system must work for the country, and this is where the government comes in. If anybody borrows a reneges or they become criminal in their relationship with somebody, an investor, they should be punished accordingly. But if the person just runs to court and the court grants them immunity from anything, from anybody, then we have a problem. So it's the whole system that must change if we want to do these things properly. And the time is now, because right now we have a problem in our hands. The farmer will have to have enabling environment. He is contending with insecurity. He is contending with acts of God. He is contending with insufficiency of finance, access to credit, mechanization, science and technology, and many other things. So it's not possible for these things to work if the others do not work. So any institution that has cross-cutting issues with agriculture must be made to work. The law enforcement officers must work. The quarantine, all those people involved in the issue of agriculture must work properly. The customs, the immigration, everybody has to work properly.
The areas they should just look into is these areas of collaterals. Their interest rate now is very, very high, extremely high. But their defense is that they are not printing money. They go to money market. They get money from depositors. And what they are paying for the money too is very high. And they have to make profit. So along that line, there's no way you can fault them. That's why I keep saying that they should look at the collateral issue. So as for the development banks, like Bank of Agric, for example, government should endeavor to fund it well and make sure whatever money they are giving goes to the people who really needs it, goes to the farmers. FACAN and all of us are involved in really identifying them. By the time they do that, everybody will turn to farmer when they are not farmers. And they will collect the money and divert it elsewhere. So such banks have to be well funded so that you will have a choice. You don't have to go to commercial banks when those banks are there for you to go to.
What is the security that the farmer will have before a commercial bank issue a bank guarantee that will allow the farmers to have access to it? All this bureaucracy of the government has to be removed if we actually want to do agriculture. Agriculture is the best thing that can take Nigeria from this dead wood to the greatest high. But until we do it rightly and face what we're supposed to do as a nation, we should stop all these lip services we are doing right from the farm. Everything is not all about politics. Get the technocrat who is really aware what to do. The only time we have it right in this nation is when Akinwumi Adesina was in charge of Agric. He makes all these policies, but immediately he left, the CBN governor saw it as an avenue for him to make money for him and his cronies. Nobody will take commercial bank fund to do cocoa and be able to make profits. Because if somebody has to, you come and borrow 32%, 35%. Even those who are processing, how are they going to run it? If you have a factory and the return on investment is less than 5%, somebody now says you should come and pay 32% interest. That's why you see all these banks continue declaring huge, massive profits at the expense of this, a country that is dying every day.
Agriculture is important. Yes, there must be subsidy in agriculture. There must be compensations for losses and all that. But then there are other things also. What about health? What about water? What about many things? So government has got too much in its hands. We cannot make government to do anything. But when you insure, you make your own contributions and the insurance company will pay. What we had even proposed to NAIC was we would have some form of fleet insurance. They are the experts, they will work on it. As AFAN, we can get fleet insurance, for instance, for all our smallholder farmers. Let us assume for this discussion that we have a group or a crop of smallholder farmers with 1 hectare. And we tell them, look, get an insurance policy of 10,000. And let's assume that we are talking with about 10 million of them. 10 million times 10,000, all available to NAIC. Will it go to anybody to look for money? And the floodings or devastations or whatever will happen cannot happen to all the farmers at the same time. So you will have enough money to compensate farmers that have suffered. Like this is what insurance is. This is what we used to do with fleet insurance on cars. AFAN is going to give a compendium of advice to the current Minister of Agriculture. We will go to him and hand it over to him as our contribution.
Let them give a proper support for agric banking. And they should prioritize. If it's only 15 crops, if it's only 10 crop, if it's only 5 crop, let them fix amount of money to this thing. And let them make it a feedback that we are putting out this money. What is the result? How do you measure the growth? But like some of the programs the government do, they will just give out money. No follow-up. What do they use for the money? Like their so-called EEG that they are giving to the people. You give money to people, you don't ask them, what do you use the money for? The money that meant for the indigenous, you are giving it to these Indians, Lebanese and co. And they will do the capital flight. That's why the dollar keep on going up every day. Because nobody will come from any country and develop your country. It's only the indigenous that has nowhere to go that can develop our country. Nobody will come from anywhere. Because their interest coming here is to make money and go. But instead of our government to develop their own people, Nigerians are ready to work. We can do it. And we have been doing it at our own level. But let them develop so many other people too within the country. We are saying unemployment. Each year we are producing graduates coming out from the institutions. And we don't provide where and when and how we are going to manage them. And we are not talking of banditry. We are talking of insecurity. After you leave this place, go to Abuja, move along the street, see the people in secondary school, in primary school, 2 o'clock when they are leaving their various schools. It's very easy for those who want to recruit them to work for them at a peanut.
Everything that we have catalogued must work. If I gave you a farm, for instance, in Nasarawa, where you would probably with the seed type, with the methodology of production and all that, you are going to get 10 tons of corn, and each ton is sold at 1 million naira. You envisage 10 million from that farm. If you can you put 20 million to get 10 million? And this is what has been happening. If you look at the quantum of monies that have been given to farmers or given to agriculture from the CBN, it's in trillions. Take the total production in a given year for any of these crops and see the amount that was said to have been put in the production. See how they stack up against each other. So we have to revisit many things. We have to ask people with integrity to manage so many sectors of the economy. Then the agricultural economy will be sound and food sufficiency and then food security will be attained. The issue of food security or the ministry being rechristened Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security is work in progress. We have just started. The CBN Anko Boroa is put on hold. So a lot of things have to be done now. And it is now that advice should go in to the driving of agriculture. And this is what we require at this point.
As for Agua, we've not really done well in Agua, you know. We've not done well. We're still struggling with Agua because, of course, competing with some other countries, it has not been easy. Our funding is a problem. Even our packaging and all that, to an extent, is also a little bit of a problem. If not ordinarily, but for after it's something that will eventually benefit all African countries. Because really, even right now, we do a lot of export to all these African countries, a lot, informal exports. You just go drive down to Jibia and all those places, you will see thousands of trailers loading onions, pepper, maize, sorghum, name it. A whole lot that is not being captured. If after issues are well formalized, Nigeria is going to be, in fact, the king in that corridor because we have all it takes, really, to be champions in that area.
We are doing it because we love our country, not because we want to make much money there. That does not mean we are not making money. But what I'm saying, the stress is supposed that we are going through, it's not supposed to be. If you are exporting cocoa or whatever you are producing, it's even sad that you said, if I make loss in my business, the government must take money on it. I've borrowed money and I lost money on that trade. They will charge you. Although this present government, they are trying to remove some of these impediments, especially on the FRS. And all the states too that's producing this cocoa, they need to buckle up with their responsibilities. What we used to have in the olden days of Awolowo's and co, it's no longer there. We have these farmers and we have these agriculture officers that monitor everything from the farm to the town. Before, when you want to grade cocoa, every quality will be checked. All you just need to bring your money. If it's 15,000, pay, carry your cocoa. And that's why there's a lot of people that are adulterating rubbish into the cocoa in the country. You can never compare the quality of cocoa in Nigeria with one in Ghana or Ivory Coast when you get to Amsterdam, because of a lot of rubbish packed inside it. If you are not disciplined in your country, nobody will take rubbish from you outside the country. It's your own problem. Why must you, until when you take cocoa out of the country or take sesame seed or ginger out of the country and they started giving a mark XX that this thing is not exportable? and the next day we'll push it into the ocean. So as a nation, we must start working seriously and stand firmly to face we have a lot of problems to solve. These government agencies are not helping the matters at all.
The way forward is for us to be very serious about agribusiness, from farming to processing to trading to exporting to manufacturing along that corridor, along that value chain. We just have to be more proactive, because that is one area that every Nigerian can get into. You don't have to be a super scientist to go into that field. You don't have to be so a specialist in any area of technology to go into it. Because if you recollect, our forefathers were farmers. They didn't go to any school to learn that skill. It's a skill any average intelligent human being can easily go into. And I can tell you, no matter the type of farming, you don't need more than 6 weeks training. In fact, at times 3-4 weeks training. You are home and dry, and you will do well. Amongst other things, in this country today, if we want to really develop ourselves, number one is agric. Number two, IT. Number three, entertainment industry. With industry, we will turn around the economy of this country.
If you have been using a particular system that is not working, why don't you talk to the people that is doing the work? We have all these commodity traders. All of us were there. Various groups. We have FACAN, we have CAN, we have all this. Let them call them on the table. And this is what the country wants. We want cocoa production to move from 300,000 tons to 500,000 to 700,000 tons within 5 years. What can we do? Then we'll give them the table, how to achieve it. Let them start implementing it. 10 years cocoa development plan now. They have passed it. The last government, the last regime, that was their last approval they did. This government that have been there now, nothing has happened. What works in other country? Why is it not working with us? Why do I need to be greedy? Why do you need to be greedy? If your fair share gets to you.
We have to revisit many things. We have to ask people with integrity to manage so many sectors of the economy. Then the agricultural economy will be sound, and food sufficiency and then food security will be attained. It is possible to do it. It is not impossible to get it. And the government is not any more ambitious than me, for instance, for asking us to be very, very aware of its need, or the need to have food security in this country.